Alrighty, chat, let's get started. Welcome to another Healthy Gamer GG stream. My name is Alok Kanoja. Just a reminder that although I'm a psychiatrist, nothing we discuss on stream today is intended to be taken as medical advice. Everything is for educational or entertainment purposes only. Welcome, chat. Happy Friday, everybody. If y'all have a question or medical question or concern, please go see a licensed professional. And if y'all think that what we do today consists of medical advice, you really need to understand what the practice of medicine is. Because today we are going to be looking at meme reviews. So today is, I think we took last Friday off. So we had a crazy month in May. It was awesome. We saw tons of people. We went to the American Psychiatric Association National Conference. We had absolute mega chads on stream. People like Squeaks and the Surgeon General. I don't know which one is more of a get, chat. Who's more of a get? Squeaks or Surgeon General? But seriously, I heard from some of our psychiatric colleagues that they actually really liked the Surgeon General interview too. So I took like a day off, not really much more than that. And today we're just going to be hanging out and kind of chilling. So I feel like there was a lot of work we were doing, like gotta save the internet, bruh. And now we're gonna still, we're gonna learn things today and all that good stuff. But we're gonna just do it classic style, like before we were big. So we're just gonna hang out with chat. We're gonna be doing a little bit of vibing. Gonna be reacting to some memes. Because here's the thing. Psychiatry is oftentimes, or learning about our mind is oftentimes boring. Right? So if you major in psychology in college and you go to Psych 101 class, they're going to be sitting there and there's going to be a PowerPoint presentation and all this kind of stuff. And so today we're going to hopefully learn a little something about our minds. And we will do it in the best way possible, which is through the amazing lens of memes. So we're going to do that. And actually, quick question. Have y'all played Diablo 4? What's the deal? Can we talk about Diablo 4? And also, what happened with Twitch's content guidelines? Chat. Please meditate? Okay, we'll meditate today. Okay, because I'm not sure. Oh my God. Okay, so I can't tell. So this is the hard thing. Um, is that I can't like maybe I'm asking the wrong community. 5% of y'all are playing Diablo 4. So I wasn't sure. So people said that it was like a spiritual successor to Diablo 2, which is responsible. By the way, if y'all like Dr. K, you can thank Diablo 2 and Warcraft 3 because that was where my story started. Wow. So D4 is most solid, but how's the game? Is it like good? It's more like D3. Okay. Okay. I'm debating getting into it, but okay, that's good to know. So the other thing that happened recently is what you guys want to talk about this Twitch stuff, or you guys want to like we have a announcement to make at HG. So let's do. Okay. Announcement. Okay, let's do announcement. Okay, so some of y'all may already know this, but we have stealth launched we had a beta product running in May, actually. So for those of y'all that are in the know, you're in the know. I think people from like Discord and stuff, like people who are parts of our community, you guys probably got kind of first crack at this. So thank y'all very much for checking it out. I understand I'm hearing good things. But so something weird has happened recently. So when we started out on, streaming and stuff like 4 years ago, it's been 4 years. Can you believe that? That's insane, dude. It's been 4 years. We would just answer questions, right? And people would be like, Dr. K, like, hey, like, what should I do about this? And people are asking about ADHD and all this kind of stuff. At this point, we have 799 videos on our YouTube channel. And on top of that, there's a lot of stuff that we do on stream that never ends up on YouTube. So at this point, what's happening is people are asking questions that have already been answered. And thus far, we have a awesome community that if you post a question like on our subreddit or our Discord or something like that, or you're working with one of our coaches, they will recommend, like they'll be like, hey, like I have this problem. Someone's like, hey, you should check out this video by Dr. K from like 2020. And then they're like, wow, thank you very much. That helps a lot. So what we've decided to do is launch something called resource packs. And resource packs are, they're basically curated packs. People in our community and our team will try to assemble groups of videos that are on particular topics. So we already have stuff like guides, right? So we have like Dr. K's guide to depression and stuff, which I saw a hilarious post. Someone was like, hey, wait, this is not a subscription? And it's like, nah, bruh. you pay $20 one time and then you get it. I know it's an outdated model. But like, we're trying to make it, they're really built to help people, and we're trying to make them as accessible as possible. So what we've also done is, despite that, right? So despite guides actually being like, we get really solid feedback about them. They're super affordable. There's also people who will say like, hey, I can't afford it, right? So HealthyGamer has people, or we have clients, people who watch our stuff from like over 120 countries. And there's just a lot of places in the world where like the US dollar is expensive. And so we try really hard to make as much stuff as accessible as possible. And so resource packs are really, really common topics that we have a lot of information about. And what we've done is tried to take like the best videos that we've done. And sometimes these have videos from the guide. And I think that if there's a guide video included, like I don't think y'all have to pay for it. Maybe you do. I don't know. And then the other thing that we've done is we've noticed that if you look at outcomes, So you can watch a video, but there are certain things that correlate with outcomes. So if we, for example, look at the motivation resource pack, so there are videos from the guide and from YouTube. And then there are also different like reflections and insights. So let's see if we can. And so what we really have tried to do is create something that allows y'all not just to watch, but we're using some evidence-based techniques of learning and behavioral change. So one example of that is like when you watch a YouTube video, what are the key points, right? What are the things that we want to reinforce? So if you look at like, for example, the science of learning, you can watch something and your absorption isn't going to be that great. But if you have some kind of reinforcement within 20 minutes, within 1 day, within 2 days, then chances are the learnings of the video will sink in more. Now, the downside of like learning this way is that it is boring. So what we've really tried to do, tried really, really hard, is find videos that are like entertaining enough and then insights that are like there's 34 insights for the motivation pack. And that's to reinforce the key points. So if you watch a video and then like the key thing is that the insights are not long. We're not talking about like a textbook, right? It's going to be pretty short. So let me see how I can get access to okay. And then the other thing that we sort of know is that when human beings manipulate information, that is when y'all actually learn the best. Okay? So this is a huge problem, is that so let's understand something. Right now on the internet, there is a ton of information and there is very little learning. It's a core problem. And so what happens is you can see 1,000 resources on procrastination. Why is one resource or 10 resources on procrastination not enough? Because we don't learn from them. We don't actually learn, right? The internet is full of information that does not actually induce learning. So we're trying to fix that. And there are two things you have to understand if you want to actually learn from information. The first is repetition or reinforcement. And the second is the manipulation of information. So when your brain starts playing around with the information, that is when it sinks in. Okay? So sometimes in psychiatry, we get called to do something called like an emergency consult. Okay? So you may wonder, like, what is an emergency psychiatry consult? It's when there's someone who wants to leave the hospital who is hospitalized for medical reasons. Someone had a heart attack and they're like, F this, I'm done. And they like take out all the lines and tubes and stuff and they grab their little IV thing and they start walking towards the elevator in their gown with their butt showing in the back because it's like open in the back. And they're like, I'm leaving. And then the medical folks are like, the cardiologists are like, we don't know what to do with this person. So who do they call? They call the psychiatrist because this crazy patient wants to leave. And then we as psychiatrists have to figure out, okay, this person, like, how do we figure out if this person is in their right mind? We have formal assessments called assessments for the capacity for decision making. So can this person actually make decisions for themselves? And a key part of that process is for the patient to understand and be able to manipulate the information of the situation. So if you tell her, sir, if you leave, do you understand that you could die? And the person will say, yes, I understand. I'm going. That's not good enough. In what way could you have health problems if you leave? Well, I could have another heart attack. I would stop like getting these medicines. I won't be on like monitoring. And so I understand that if something goes wrong, no one's going to be around. That's the point at which they've manipulated the information. Okay? So what these resource packs are designed to do... Oh. Wait, how long have I been muted? What the fuck? How long have I been muted? Okay, just the last 15 seconds. Okay. All right. So the thing with resource packs is that what we've tried to do is not just have the videos, which are entertaining, but then some amount of reinforcement, and then also giving y'all a chance to manipulate the information. And we've tried to make it as accessible as possible. So like, what happens when you try to hold one thought in your mind for a significant amount of time? Simple, right? So you can write like 1 sentence, 3 sentences, 4 sentences. And the whole point is it's supposed to be bite-sized. I'm going to see if I can figure out, how do I find a insight summary? Okay, click the video, he's saying. All right, so, all right, click the video besides reflection. Okay, so let's, what people don't get about motivation, okay? So then here's the insights. That's it, right? So watch the video, and then what you guys can do is just read the insights. So blah, blah, blah. And then we kind of like look at these, okay? Those are the key points, and then complete your reflection and then move on. Easy. Okay? And so these are resource packs. We have one on motivation, one on confidence, one on life purpose, one on communication, social media and internet use, and hidden gems, which I'm not quite sure what this is. So I think what we did is we asked the internet which ones... Oh, yeah, this is a good one. Why holidays suck. Yeah, so like these are like some of the things we basically asked the community. We were like, people, please tell us like what do y'all want to hear, or what do y'all like about like Dr. K's stuff the most, something like that. We asked some kind of question, and basically the community came up with a list of like what they thought were hidden gems, basically, like things that are different, hard to find, not really common topics, but add a lot of value. And it's stuff like, because people don't talk about, you can find 1,000 videos on procrastination, but how much guidance can you get with dealing with crappy holidays? Yeah. So check those out, and keep in mind that resource packs are absolutely free. Okay. So we're going to continue, trying to make stuff as accessible as possible. And huge shout out to Tech Teller, our mod team, and other people like our devs have been working really, really hard, right? And they don't volunteer their time, and they built this stuff for y'all. So all we really ask of you is that when we build something, please use it and improve your life, whatever it is. Whether it's a Twitch stream, whether it's a YouTube video, whether it's a resource pack. And I see that some people have like been tipping and donating and stuff like that. If y'all are ever wondering, like, where does the money go? The money goes to things like this, right? So our mission is to, what we really believe is that money is fuel. And the more money we get, the more we will build stuff. And yeah, basically. Nope, it's not $20. It's free. And our hope is that if you guys like the resources, you support us however you can. Supporting us includes, you'll see at the bottom right, there's actually like a link for which resource pack should we build next. That actually counts as support. Like, just tell us what y'all need, right? Don't just be AFK and be a lurker. Support also means sharing the videos with other people. So if you know people who could benefit from these resource packs, send them the resource pack. If y'all want to donate or subscribe or whatever on Twitch or YouTube or share videos or whatever, like, please do that. If y'all want to tip us or whatever, like, please do that. And then the last thing is that if y'all like the resource packs and stuff, definitely check out Dr. K's guide. Those are a little bit more, in a sense, clinically focused, but they're not really clinical in nature. So the guides are really built for when someone comes into my office and says, I'm depressed. It's not necessarily that they have an illness. They could just be like lost in life and have no direction. So if you guys are struggling with kind of like, self-confidence and stuff, check out the depression guide. If y'all are struggling with anxiety, check out the anxiety guide. If you want to learn how to meditate or meditation is hard for you, check out the meditation guide because we try to make it easy. And if y'all want to basically understand why meditation is hard, there's one reason why meditation is hard. And that is if you go to a meditation expert, they will be of a particular tradition. And that meditation expert will say, this is the way to meditate. And then you will try it and it will be hard. Now, here's the key thing. If you are struggling, you go to the meditation teacher and you say, this is hard. What does the meditation teacher say? They say, try harder. They never say, go to the guru across the street. They will be able to help you. Go to someone else. You will find a better teacher elsewhere. So the way we teach meditation is I didn't find a fit. I've studied with like over a dozen different traditions of meditation, stayed at different ashrams and temples. And so I learned all this different stuff. And then I realized, oh, there's not one meditation for all people. There are different meditations for different people. And we walk you through how to find a meditation that is right for you. So if y'all are interested in that, definitely check out the meditation guide. And then last one is our guide to doing stuff in ADHD, which is like if you struggle to do things and you think you have ADHD or you have ADHD, check out that guide. Okay? Are the resource packs like the light edition and paid guides the pro edition? No. I do not like that version of stuff. So sometimes there are good reasons to have a light edition and a pro edition. But sometimes like that model doesn't sit right with us. So the point of the resource packs is they are topics that are different from the guides. And the experience is actually quite different. So guides take a lot of time and energy and money to build. Resource packs in that way are somewhat lighter because they synthesize content from other places. They're really apples and oranges, and you can use both. And even in the resource packs, there are some guide videos that I think are normally behind paywalls, but in the resource pack, they're not. So we try to even make those videos freely accessible. Now, you're not going to get, it's not like you can watch. I mean, you're not going to get the most part of the guide, but we sort of made an internal decision of, okay, this is a paid thing. Do we want to paywall it? And what we ultimately decided on, they are behind paywalls. Okay, so that's good to know. So there are some videos that we believe belong in the resource pack, but they're a paid product. So you guys can get 80 to 90% of the resource pack for free, and then the only like pro version is if there's a guide video that's behind a paywall. That's good to know. So yeah, debate. So we do what we can, chat. So definitely check out the resource packs. There's still a ton of stuff. We can take a quick look at, I think like 90% of the guides are free. 90% of the resource packs are free. So if y'all want a link, just check out ! resource pack and we'll be good. Okay. Next thing we want to talk about is, so let's just understand something, okay? So I understand that Twitch released some like changes to sponsorship guidelines recently. I didn't follow the whole story. So I'm going to go ahead and say that like, I actually think Twitch is a pretty decent platform. So I know that a lot of people will say like, oh my God, like they're evil and all this kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that platforms don't make decisions that are unfavorable for either users or content creators. I'm not saying that they're perfect. I've worked with a lot of different companies, including a lot of these platforms. And one of the biggest mistakes that I think that people on the internet make is they think about Twitch as a as a homogenous unit that is frequently evil. I don't think so. I think there are hundreds of employees at Twitch, thousands of employees at Twitch, a lot of whom are good people, and a lot of whom like really try hard to make this a positive experience. And I think that Twitch as a platform has done an amazing job, right? Twitch did streaming before it was cool. And so I think there's a lot of innovation, and I think the platform's good. That being said, I think that what we're seeing here is like really, really tricky. So I'm going to explain something to y'all, okay? So what I see here could be very similar. We can learn a lot of lessons from what's going on right now from actually like classic abusive relationships. So in a relationship like this, sometimes what happens is someone does something really, really drastic. Like they'll hit someone else. And then what happens is there was like this, like there was a really, really heavy change. And then there was sort of this half apology. And then there was this full apology. And like, I hope Twitch does not go down this road. But one thing that I'm concerned about is that what they're doing is sort of testing limits. Where they're like, I'm going to do something really, really drastic. And does the half apology work? No. Does the full apology work? Yes. Now, in a good relationship, they will now understand that this is really important to people. And even if they want to somehow route sponsorships through Twitch, which I'm actually fine with, for the record, I think it's like reasonable to, if the platform is, if there are people on the platform who are generating a ton of money, and for the platform to be involved in that, I don't think is unfair, right? It's like if I have a warehouse and people are renting out space in their warehouse and there are other kinds of weird transactions going on there, I built this stuff. I think it's reasonable for there to be some kind of exchange or value. If I'm providing value, I should get something in return. That's my take. But there are different ways to go about this. And what worries me a little bit is if we look at an abusive relationship, this is where you do something really, really drastic. And then everyone gets upset. And then you kind of half apologize. You test limits. Will people calm down? They didn't. So now we go do a full apology. And I hope that was genuine. Now what I'm worried about is when that happens in these kinds of relationships, and think about your own life, is when they do something really, really drastic and you say, I'm done, I'm leaving, I'm taking the kids, I'm walking out the door, you'll never see me again. Oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. Or at the beginning they said, you made me do it, you made me do it. And you're like, screw you, I didn't make you do anything, I'm gone. And they're like, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And you're like, okay, fine, I'll stay. Now comes the important point. If this is an abusive relationship, what they start doing is they take their drastic thing and they make it into lots of different chunks, and then they feed them one step to you at a time. They start doing passive aggressive stuff. They start yelling at you. They start getting upset. They stop doing their responsibilities. They start with the emotional abuse, and then they kind of escalate. So what I really hope is that this opens up dialogue. But what I'm really afraid of is everything in those sponsorship guidelines, instead of giving it to all to us at once, they're going to chop it up into 10 or 15 steps, and then they're going to insert it one at a time. And even then, I don't take issue with actually a fair amount of those guidelines. But I think it all depends on the relationship. And I have faith, actually, that there are like good people at Twitch. Like, I still have faith, right? I think they've built an amazing platform. And like, there's just all kinds of stuff going on the platform, right? And they did good stuff about hot tub streams, I thought. They handled the gambling stuff really well. And like, people lost a ton of money, right? Like, they're pretty good about like content stuff. And I think they're good. But I think we've just got to be careful about what this relationship looks like going forward. And for y'all to also be aware that if you're in a relationship with someone who does things that are really drastic, and then they respond to your apology, be careful about what comes next. You know, the good people are controlled by money-hungry Amazon. I know people say that, but I think that corporations are not nearly as one-dimensional as like people on the internet think. I don't know how else to say it. I think there's a lot of good people out there. And I think that Twitch has had like honestly, like they've done for the most part, I think pretty good. The revenue split stuff is like, oh, and this is the other really interesting tactic, right? Who's talking about revenue split now? The mother of all misdirections. You're upset about revenue split? Here, let me take, you were upset that I did something mean to you? Here, let me show you the meaning of mean. Oh, I'm sorry, I went too far. My bad. And now everyone's like, okay, like, did Twitch do the right thing? Okay, but like, no one's talking about revenue split. So you got to be careful in relationships because they'll edge things forward. So when people say corps mostly care about profit, there are people in the corporation whose job it is to care about profit, right? And shareholders care about profit. But I believe, and I've worked, and if you guys have worked on the inside of an organization, you know this. There are people out there who are trying to do good stuff. And I think that I haven't lost faith with them. I think the biggest thing is just how they go forward with this. I don't think it's unreasonable for Twitch to take a cut of sponsorships. But to stop them entirely, like that's, or restrict them very heavily, like that I think is too far. Yeah, so people saying their idea of making profit is taking more money from streamers, like, sure, but that's where I think that, do you all know why sponsorships are so big on Twitch and on other platforms? Why do content creators use sponsorship so much? Or why do sponsors want to sponsor streamers? Why does that happen? Because it works. Right? It works. That's why they're doing it. And I mean, it's not my area of expertise. And hopefully I didn't offend anyone. It wasn't my intention to. But I think that, like, this is where one of two things. They walked back the policy, which I thought was awesome. I don't even know the details of it. And I think the real thing is that if they, I think what happens next is the most important thing. Yeah, so Chris Unchecked is saying, because most streamers don't know how to value their advertising strength and price accordingly. I would agree. We certainly don't know what we're worth. And we sometimes get approached for very big sponsorships, but from people that we don't feel aligned with. So I actually think that there is a very realistic scenario, and maybe I will get downvoted to oblivion. So I think like a lot of streamers know what they're worth and they're like very good at negotiating, but a lot of people aren't. And I can see a scenario in which streamers, if Twitch is involved, they know the value of what their stream offers, and they may actually be able to negotiate better in some cases. Now, hopefully, if they did that, the streamer would see more money and Twitch would see more money, and you would get a appropriate amount of, you would be charging the sponsor an appropriate amount of value. Hopefully, but who knows? It's not my area of expertise. Who's like an expert in this stuff? Like, y'all could talk to Moist or Ludwig or Pokimane or someone like that. Devin Nash. Anyway, so the other thing that I just got to say, and I really do think that Twitch is doing a lot of good. Like, there's a lot of good stuff that happens on the platform. Right? I mean, they supported us, and like, we had a good mission. And so the people that we talk to at Twitch are like really fantastic. Right? We were like, hey, Twitch, the Surgeon General of the United States wants to show up and like wants to talk about mental health. Can y'all help us with that? And they're like, yeah. We'll make sure that like moderation is okay, and like we understand that he's a normal human being, so we'll help y'all. We'll help y'all like make sure that the experience is such that they don't get scared away and they'll come back. And by the way, the real heroes of the Surgeon General stream are actually y'all. Dude, like the comments in stream were so awesome. And this is where I know people, on the one hand, people think that, oh my God, Twitch is evil. The other thing that happens is that everyone thinks that like Twitch chat in the internet is full of like these like losers who can't control themselves. I think y'all are fantastic. I think in the same way that we get judged unfairly, we also judge other people unfairly. Most judgment is unfair because the people who judge y'all don't know you. Right? And I think that's like, it's so easy to judge without knowing. Case in point. I'm like, oh my God, chat was so amazing. And Can M6 is like, thank God I wasn't there. Yeah. No, so I'm sure that there are 4chaners in chat, but the awesome thing is that even if you're a 4chaner, like you can keep it together for like 30 minutes. Okay, let's get to memes. That's what we're here for. We're here for the dankest of memes, chat. Okay. In the end, the only thing that worked were my old frenemies, meds. We had a deal. I took care of myself. I did everything right. I should be happy. I don't ever remember making that deal. You talking to your brain if you have ADHD. So a lot of people will wonder, can I do it without meds? Right? It worked with meds, but meds caused problems. If you're taking an SSRI, they gave you anorgasmia, which is awful. Do y'all know what anorgasmia is? The inability to have an orgasm. So for men, they can oftentimes get erect, but they can't climax. Common side effect of SSRIs. So you had to take the meds. And a lot of people will wonder, a lot of people will come to me. A lot of people came to me because they were like, I want to stop taking medication. So let's understand very quickly why we take psychiatric meds. A lot of people think I need meds. And some people do. A lot of people hate needing meds. And sometimes we'll try really hard to do everything else. We're going to go vegan. We're going to exercise. We're going to meditate. We're going to get our sunlight every day. We're going to take our supplements. We're going to do everything. And it'll be good. We don't need the meds. So, and sometimes that really does work for people. Like, I will try to help people get off of meds. 50 to 60% of people in my practice are on no medication. And they'll come in oftentimes on medication. So it's possible. But the basic thing to understand is that meds are there when everything else is not good enough. That's why the medication exists. So if you can't go to psychotherapy, if you can't meditate for an hour every day, if you can't do this, if you can't do that, that's why we have a medication. And some people may say, but I'm doing all that stuff. Do I still need medication? Sometimes. And they may say, why? That's unfair. It's because of the society we live in today. Our brains did not evolve for this society. Every time I wake up, if I open social media, I see how other people are having more fun than I am. Our brains did not evolve to be assaulted by that every single day. And so, to be well adjusted to a sick society is not to be healthy. It's not what health is. And sometimes living in the society that we live in today, to counterbalance all the crap that we have to deal with, sometimes medication is necessary. Sometimes medication is necessary to craft the life that you want. And sometimes you can do everything right, but you just got the wrong genetics or the wrong upbringing, and you need medication for now. So the other thing that I've seen a lot of is a lot of people will take medication, but they'll think, do I have to be on it forever? No. I've had people who've been on medication for 5 years and then they can get off. Why? Because 5 years is what it takes to build a life that you can stay healthy without medication. Building a healthy relationship, having a healthy house, sort of setting up your financial situation, potentially getting through a couple of years of being a parent. I've seen this so much, especially in women. Everyone talks about how great it is to have kids. Oh, have you had kids yet? Are you having kids? Why aren't you having kids? Having the first 2 years of having a kid is terrible. It's very rewarding, but from a physiologic standpoint, you're not sleeping. Your body is all fucked up. Your hormones are going through the roof. We live in a society, I don't know if y'all understand this, but it takes a village to raise a child. So if you look at like humans are tribal. So in our like standard setting, it's like there's 15 kids and there are like 8 caregivers. The economy of scale of childbearing is in our favor. We used to be. Because 8 adults can take care of 15 kids. In the society that we live in today, it is oftentimes 1, or if you're lucky, 2 people. Like, it's like one-on-one. That's really hard. It's really hard. And so a lot of times women will come in and they'll be like, I'm like, the depression is back, and they don't want to start medication. They don't really realize that they're trying to raise a child in a way that was like, that's not how it was designed to be done. And the economy of scale of child rearing is like not in our favor. And that's why you see dads doing so much more now, which I think is good and is necessary. It's not about mom or dad. It's about you need like more adults to handle more kids. And so for the first couple years of life, I've worked with a ton of women who need to stay on medication because they're not sleeping right. And like sleep is what you need to fix your mind. You got this kid. And so sometimes we need medication, and that's okay. You don't have to judge yourself for it. It doesn't mean that you're weak. And other people will say like, oh, like you can get off of medication. You don't need medication. I don't believe in that crap. I exercised. I did this, and it helped. I didn't need it anymore. And that's great. I'm so happy it worked for them. But it doesn't work for everybody. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do those wellness things as well. The biggest mistake that those people make is, this happens so much. The biggest mistake with mental health and mental illness is that people assume that what worked for me will work for you. They remove individuality from the equation. And if there's one thing that I've learned practicing psychiatry now for like a decade, it's that what works for one person doesn't work for someone else. That's why you need a clinician. That's why you need a psychiatrist, because every person is different. Your metabolism, your diet, the absorption that you have. So there's a study that came out recently, which, this is where Ayurveda like figured out all this stuff like decades or thousands of years ago, that taking certain vitamins in whole milk improves their absorption. Right? So people like take this supplement, but half of them are taking it with milk and half of them are taking it with water. And it changes the absorption. There's so much individuality. And for some people, it's totally fine. Their absorption capacity is pretty good. For other people, our gut microbiome is inflamed from eating way too much pizza and drinking way too much energy drinks. And so we can't absorb nutrients. There's so much individuality. So don't judge another person for what their journey is. And for people who judge you, recognize that they haven't lived your life. You don't, and what happens when other people judge us is we let it sink in. This person thinks I am weak, therefore I must be weak. How well does that person know you? What do they understand about your life? I'm not saying that judgments aren't ever accurate or that you can't be weak. But if someone tells you, hey, you are weak, and you believe them, that's not because they're right. You believe them because you carried that belief to begin with. And so if you want to free yourself of the judgment of others and you feel like, oh my God, these people say things and like it affects me so much, then what we try to do is we try to get them to stop. But that's not where the problem is. The problem is in here, in your own beliefs. And the cool thing is that once you believe in yourself, people can say whatever they want to about you. It's not going to make a flip of a difference. Right? We try to ban them. Oh my God, I'm going to ban this person from my life, which can be reasonable. But like, if they have like this aura of toxicity that does like this pool of toxic crap that does 5 HP damage a second, you can try to like move away from it, which is great. But I would say like just build up your regen buff. Regen 10 HP a second and you'll be fine. Learn how to cope instead of avoidance. And you'll do better in life. Just cope. Okay. This is great. Be awkward by being quiet. Be awkward by talking. Okay. I'm going to teach y'all how to not be awkward. Y'all ready? Everyone's like, don't be awkward. Being awkward is very simple. When your attention is in your own head, you will be awkward. And when your attention is not in your own head, you will be relaxed. There's a very simple experiment you can run. Think about walking while you walk. Now I'm going to put my right foot forward. Now I'm going to lift my knee. Now I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to relax I'm going to put the plantar surface of my foot down. Now the heel is going to touch. Think about all of the steps as you walk. And you will become the most awkward walker in existence. And just walk. Don't think about it. That's when you actually walk the best. So this is the tricky thing, is that when you try not to be awkward, where is your mind? Where is your attention? It is in your mind. You are trying not to be awkward. You're not doing the thing. Now I'm thinking about how to do things, so I'm awkward over here. Now I'm thinking about this, so I'm even more awkward. So this is why getting awkward is such a trap. Because the less awkward you try to be, the more you step into your mind and the more awkward you become. Y'all see that? It's like moving in the wrong direction. It's like, oh my God, there's a fire here. Quick, someone grab some gasoline and pour the gasoline on top. Let's put out the fire because liquid puts out fire, right? And this is what happens when you try to not be awkward. You do the very thing that makes you awkward. And that's how you end up with this. Lose-lose situation. Because you think that, okay, if I'm quiet, I will not be awkward. Or if I talk, I will not be awkward. No, the awkwardness is within you. So no matter what you do, you will be awkward. But this is the really cool thing. If it's within you, you can actually change it. It's not about the behavior. It's not about, okay, what do I say or what do I not say? How do I be quiet? Should I speak now? Should I not speak now? And that's what makes you awkward, because now you're in your own head and you're not paying attention to the conversation. So if you want to stop being awkward, absorb your mind in whatever is around you. Instead of thinking about what you should say or whether you should say something, pay attention to what the other person is saying. Listen to the other person. Listen to your surroundings. Externalize your awareness. And then you will not be awkward. And if we sort of think about it, we can see that we can prove it the other way too. When am I the least awkward? When I'm absorbed in something. Like if I get into bed at night and I grab a nice cool pillow and I lay down and I'm like, man, this feels amazing. I'm not thinking about, okay, how can I feel more comfortable? Is this comfortable enough? Is this not comfortable enough? If my attention is on the pillow and on the bed, I will feel relaxed and it'll feel good. And this is why people stay so awkward, is because everyone's like, what do I do? It is not about doing. It is about where your attention is. And so people go looking for solutions, but any solution you try, your mind is still thinking about, okay, I should do this, I should do this, I should do this, I should do this. Your mind is pointing in the wrong way, so you end up being awkward. And then what happens is we end up feeling hopeless because I tried this and I tried this and I tried this and I watched this video and I paid for this course and this pickup artist told me to do this. But the whole time, all that crap doesn't work because your mind is still focused here. And even for the stuff that does work, what do they successfully help you do? Externalize your mind. Focus externally. That's all it takes. Still got no social skills, even when I don't think about myself. So, I mean, I'm sure that's true to a certain extent, but I mean, I think you've got some social skills. Y'all are doing great over here. Don't take mental notes from the external situation, Dibby Dog. Don't take notes at all. Do nothing internally. Just pay attention, right? Try to figure out, okay, what is this person saying? What does this person want to say? And then if you guys want more practical advice, so if you're paying attention to a conversation and you're trying to figure out, how do I jump in? Body language is really good. So I'll show y'all. This feels fucking awkward until you practice it, but you can just go like this. Yo. You can hold up a hand. It works really well. And then the other thing you can do is you can just say, you can wait for a pause, but that can be kind of awkward. The other thing you can say is, hey, can I jump in for a second? This reminds me of ... So you just signal to them, hey, I'm jumping in. Yo. Use body language, right? And just like, and then they'll stop. It's really bizarre. It's like there's some fucking Jedi mind trick at play. Right? You can say, it helps to, you can even interrupt someone, but when you interrupt someone, if you're afraid of interrupting, because here's what happens, right? So there's like some awkward, there's like, they say a sentence and there's a pause, but the pause isn't long enough for you to jump in. So they don't wait for you to speak, so you're not sure if you're supposed to speak. And then you start speaking and they start speaking at the same time. And then you're like, well, fuck. Like, what do I say? So here's the thing. You want to ride over them, but you want to ride over them with a acknowledgement. So if you and someone else are speaking at the same time, what you should say is, hey, I'd love to share something with you. And if you start saying that and they start speaking, you just plow through, because then you're kind of signaling to them, hey, like, I'm speaking here. And it sort of makes it okay to like get them, like, if they stop talking, right? Because you don't want to ride over someone with your story. You just want to acknowledge it. Does that kind of make sense? Or like you kind of want to plow through, right? But since you're plowing through and you're acknowledging that you're plowing through, it makes it okay. Okay? And that's also where, like, you can say, like, oh, wow, like, that reminds me of a story. And then if someone else starts speaking, you can say, like, you can either gesture to them, right? Like, do you want to go first? And they'll gesture to you. So, like, use gestures like hand signals. This is like the martial arts of the HG way, is like the interruption. This is the block. And this is the giving. Right? The block and the giving. And then and then you can also go like this if you're like really upset with them. Go ahead, please, just like Tactile is saying. Right? And then the other problem, by the way, the other problem with people who are super socially anxious is they're like, oh my God, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. This person, when should I start talking? This person is talking so much. Socially anxious people struggle with socially oblivious people. This is what creates your anxiety. The more, like, a socially anxious person is hyper aware, and the socially oblivious person is hypo aware. And these two things fit really together, because if someone is socially aware, they're going to acknowledge, they're going to recognize that, hey, I should stop talking at some point so that this other person can jump in. The problem is that socially anxious people think that they're screwing up, but that's because they're a socially oblivious person you're talking to, who doesn't like think about when you should speak, and that a conversation is between two people. So stop beating yourselves up if someone else doesn't know how to talk. And that's something that we don't acknowledge, right? So like right now, when we think about social anxiety, we're like, oh my God, it's a problem in me. Fix me, fix me, fix me. But any social interaction involves two people. And oftentimes socially anxious people grew up with oblivious communicators. You know, so if you want to really reduce your social anxiety, find other people who are like attuned to you. And that's what's really difficult, is sometimes if you get two socially anxious people, People are so hyper attuned to each other that like that doesn't work out well. Right? Because they're like, okay, no, like you talk. No, you talk. And then two socially anxious people are like, they're playing tennis with like, here, I'm going to hit the ball across the court. No, you. Yeah. So people are saying people feel less judged. Yeah, that's good. Right? And so after a while, one of y'all, so the cool thing about social anxiety is if you're like, no youing, at some point someone is like, okay, I will speak. And then you get to speak. And the other person is like, oh, thank God this person spoke. Because now that this person has spoke, I can speak. And I really wanted to speak, but I couldn't speak first. Y'all get me? It's so good. All right. Next up. Okay. Feels lonely with a deep feeling of apathy or existentialism. Forces myself to be around people, friends, even though I don't want to be. Feels like I'm just checking off a box and feels zero connection to the things happening around me. Feels mentally exhausted and starts getting pissed off from little things. Feels like an a-hole. Wants to be alone again, or at least I think I do. Plus does everything in my power to be alone at school. Into feels lonely. So what do y'all think the problem here is, chat? What's the problem here? So, the problem with this cycle of feels lonely, forcing myself to do this, feels like I'm doing this, feels mentally exhausting, forcing myself to do this, and then responding to your feelings, is that you are so there are two problems here. The first is that you are using an action to fix an emotion. And the second thing is that related to that, you are letting an emotion drive an action. So if you look at that, what did you see? The first word of every single part was feels. And so this is something that's very important to understand. A lot of us are taught that if we feel a certain way, we should do something. If I'm feeling lonely, I should go out. Now, the tricky thing with that is that sometimes actions can't fix emotions. If I feel unloved, let me try to get this person to love me. Whew, that does not work well. The other problem that it creates is when I start acting to fix my emotions, I become driven by my emotions. I lose control of my life. Because if I feel a certain way, the way to make myself feel better is to do something. So then my actions are driven by my emotions. And I can't control my emotions, therefore I lose control of my life. This is how you get this cycle. And since going out with other people didn't fix your loneliness, now you're still feeling lonely. What are you going to do? Jerk off, watch something, social media, or video games. And then you wake up tomorrow and you're like, well, crap, I didn't make any meaningful connections. And then you force yourself to go out again. So the first thing you can learn how to do is tolerate your emotions or work on the emotion directly. Instead of trying to just go out and meet people, ask yourself, why do I feel lonely in the first place? Because I have no friends. How did I end up here? This is, well, because I have social anxiety. No, go further. How did you develop social anxiety? What happened in your upbringing that people don't learn how to make friends? People are taught how to make friends. Why weren't you taught? What was difficult for you? What made it hard for you? Practice some self-compassion, because as long as you're beating yourself up, it's not going to work. Could you have done better? Sure. And then I'm going to leave y'all with one other technique. This is a technique to avoid regret. So a lot of times we're stuck with regret. And we sort of think back on our life and we're like, I should have done this, I should have done this, I should have done this. And then what happens is people who regret a lot are also paralyzed with moving forward. And you may wonder, well, how does that work? Well, if I suffer from a lot of regret, it means I made some kind of mistake. And so then I become aversive to making mistakes, which means that I can't take a chance anymore. Something has to be guaranteed. And if something is guaranteed and it works out, then I won't have any regrets, and I don't want any regrets. So now I'm looking for guarantees from the future, and the future doesn't give you guarantees. So you end up paralyzed. You're trying to find a lottery ticket that you know is going to be a winner before you buy a single one. It's not how it works. So how can you break out of this cycle? Whenever you dwell on the regret, what your mind will do, there's a really interesting aspect of your mind called counterfactual thinking. There's a circuit in your brain. Anytime you have a regret, your mind will tell you, because the brain is capable of problem solving, this is what you should have done differently. And you know that's what you should have done differently. If you want to stop living a life of regrets, the second your mind tells you this is what you should have done differently, you do that thing today. You don't try to do a thing for an outcome or for perfection. Whatever you should have done in the past is what you need to do right this second. That's simple. Because right now, what tries to move you in the present is a guarantee of a future. But whatever mistake you made, if you're like, man, like that sucked, I was so out of shape, then do some kind of exercise today. And this is where the mind, you have to be careful. There's going to be a pitfall of the mind. The mind will say, oh, but like, you don't want to sign up for that gym. Like, what if you don't go? Or maybe we should start with free weights, or let's do more research, or we need to figure out like the most optimal thing. It's going to give you 1,000 reasons to not do something. But focus on your regret from the past and correct it right here and now. And your mind will give you all kinds of pitfalls. Another pitfall will be, well, those circumstances are different. I'm not in those circumstances anymore. Then move towards those circumstances again. This person broke up with me because I wasn't doing this. And now I'm not even in a relationship. So how do I fix that? Well, whatever they broke up with you for, that's what you should fix. Fix it today. And you're like, it was too late. They already broke up with me. And so what, you're not going to do it now? See, it's all outcome oriented. Well, if they would come back, then I would do it. It's the wrong way to think. Raid? Hey, Nim. Dude, I'm so sorry about everything for the gift box if you're still around, Nim. But thank you very much, Nim Raiders. Welcome, everybody. What were we talking about? Welcome, Nim Raiders. I'm Dr. K. I met Nim, I think, at the Streamer Awards. He's epic. I was afraid that it had gone bad because it was like, it took so long to get to you because of the shipping. I've never shipped to wherever you are before, which I won't name in public because I don't know if other people know. But I hope you enjoyed it, my dude. The whole point was to try to take care of you while you were doing your end of the year project. But it arrived like the second week of January or something. Okay. Well, I'm gonna do my research a little bit better now that I know where you are. So going back to regret. So if you don't want to have a life filled with regret, whatever you regret in the past, do it today. Not for a reason, not for perfection. And then the cool thing is that whether it works or doesn't work, Even if it fails, 30 days later, you will look back and you can take pride in yourself because there's nothing for you to regret. You can start living a life of at least I tried instead of I should have. And the moment your life starts becoming at least I tried instead of I should have, your life will be completely different. You can sleep at night. You'll develop confidence and like you'll actually start doing better. Do you regret not giving Nim the gift box early? Yes. Yes, I do. So if he's pulling crazy all-nighters at the end of 2023, I'm going to plan accordingly and see how to fuel his work binges. You're precisely correct. Right? And then I'm going to have... No, it's like I also have to find the right kind of gift box. That's the other thing. Because I was shipping internationally and there was like produce involved. And so they like created lots of problems. So we're going to work on it. We're doing meme reviews. Okay. Welcome, everybody. So, loser, are you making the nonsense thing? Stop that. And, oh, gaming. So true. So you want to know why people fall into video games? In a nutshell, it's because video games make sense and the real world doesn't. You get to know what the rules are. They tell you what the rules are. Everything is laid out. They tell you how to control your character. How do we control this? We have no idea. And I see this a lot, especially in places like dating. So more and more people will come to me and complain about dating. And what they experience is like, okay, hey, I was on Tinder and I messaged someone and I was like, hey, what kind of food do you like? And the person is like, I'm sort of assuming a heteronormative perspective here for a second. But like, and then people will be like, oh, like a man should choose, right? Why are you being so waffly? Like, men should pick and they should be assertive. So the dude is like, okay. And the next time around, they like message someone else and they're like, hey, do you want to go to this place or this place? Because they've learned how to be assertive. And then the other person is like, why are you giving me these two choices? Like, don't you care about what I like? And like, why don't you ask me what my preferences are? Screw you. You should treat me with respect and ask for what my preferences are instead of trying to control my behavior. Right now, the world is full of people who are living life by a very, very strict set of rules. The fucking problem is that all of the strict set of rules are different. And so if you're like a human being trying to exist in the world today, it's like, I'm confused. How do I play this game? Because all the rules are different. There's some people over here telling me to do good towards other people so that I will be rewarded in heaven and that I should give my money away. And there are other people over here telling me that this is all the only life that I get and that people who do good for other people are suckers and that you should try to take as much as you want because that's how you get stuff. And they both seem like equally reasonable to me, like which one should I do? People tell you to study but don't teach you how. If you're like me and you grew up in like a South Asian or East Asian household, it's, hey, no dating, no dating, no dating, no girlfriends, no girlfriends, no girlfriends. Why aren't you married yet and where are the kids? What's wrong with you? It's past time now. Look, beta, time to get married. Like, you are 30, you are 31. It's time now, beta. It's time. Arre, don't you care that your mother is having all these headaches and stuff? She is so stressed that you are not going to be settled. It's time to get settled, beta. Come on. And like 6 years ago, it's like, no dating, no dating. You need to focus on studies, get your master's, you're in medicine. It's time to study. Don't ever go to dances. Don't go to social skills. Don't develop any of that stuff. This is the world that we live in. And people wonder why people fall into video games. Video game tells you, hey, do this, bro. Or do this, girl. And then we'll give you this. It makes sense. You get for what you pay for. Buy a $25 horse armor DLC cosmetic, you get a $25 horse armor DLC cosmetic. You get what you pay for. At least it's clean. You know what you're getting. And people wonder why we game. We game because the rest of the world doesn't make sense. Which is half the problem. The bigger problem is they blame us for not knowing how to play it. And someone, somewhere, there are other people out there who may have somehow figured out the rules of life. And then they're like, why can't you be like that guy? That guy has it figured out. It's such a mess, man. Life has no tutorial. Okay, so this is kind of cool. Schubert is saying tutorial, please. And the second message after it is Kidder Kit is Dr. K is the tutorial. We try to be. The problem is you guys are opening up the tutorial and the game is like halfway finished. Y'all are on like chapter 4 and it's like, by the way, here's how to block and here's how to heal. And somehow y'all made it this far without knowing how to block and without knowing how to heal, which is why I have faith in you. All y'all think y'all are so incompetent and so worthless and all this crap. No, y'all are amazing. And it's because y'all have gotten this far not knowing how to play the game. Y'all are playing on ping. You're lagging. You're on hardcore mode. There's no ability to load. Right? You don't even know how to save and load. And y'all have made it this far. It's great. You guys have no idea. Once you reduce the ping, right? Once you like figure out like, oh, like let me figure out what the keybinds are. Like let me figure out like how to control my emotions and how to control my mind. And let me learn how to eat healthy. Oh, I didn't realize that like if I have this motivation debuff, that eating particular foods can cleanse that motivation debuff because of gut microbiome and gut inflammation and not having enough serotonergic precursors in my diet. Like, y'all are going to do great. People are like, oh, I'm 30. Can I put my life together? Abso-fucking-lutely, dude. It'll take you 2 years. 2 years to put together your life. You could be living it at 32. 40? Sure. 3 years. 34? 2. Your chosen deity doesn't allow respawns. That's okay. Dude, I have had therapy patients who are over 80 years old who have had transformative moments and have like started to live life more fully. Literally, I've had that. I'm thinking of one lady in particular who's just remarkable. Stage 3 cancer. Lots of regrets. The cancer kind of got taken care of, really allowed her to face her mortality. And then she was like, I regret particular things. And like, we worked through that. And then she's like, cool. And then she left because she was living her life. It's like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. It was great. You can do it at 80. Only took like 8 months too. So Parn is saying you regret everything. Here's the cool thing if you regret everything. In order to regret everything, you made one of 2 mistakes. Either you did the same thing over and over and over again, and one choice consistently made leads to a life of regrets, or you made 1,000 different choices that lead to 1,000 different regrets. In either case, you're golden. If you make one mistake that leads to 1,000 regrets, you only need to fix one thing to transform 1,000 dimensions of your life. That's actually good. There's just one problem to fix. If you made 1,000 choices that lead to 1,000 regrets, You may have to think, oh man, I have to fix 1,000 things. But you can make any one of those choices differently and you will start to see some progress. It's not one big problem. It's like literally any of those choices you can make differently and you will have less regret in life. It really is all about attitude. Right? It's really bizarre. If you have one huge problem, the cool thing is like you just need to fix one big thing. Right? Because the problem is that the biggest mistake that we make is we stop trying. And that's the only time that you're guaranteed to lose, is when you stop trying. Okay, here's a... I like this one. Send awkward text. No one replies because I sound like a weirdo. Receive 0 feedback. Social skills deteriorate, and then you send more awkward texts. Love it. This is the texting life cycle. There's a couple of mistakes here, though. Send awkward text. So I'm going to tell y'all, we're going to pick this apart. Okay? The first thing is no one replies because, so if we want to understand how to overcome this, let's break this apart a little bit, okay? So the first is that this person is sending awkward texts because their social skills have deteriorated. This is a problem of assumptions. This whole thing is a problem of assumptions. And as we unpack each of these assumptions, we'll start to see how to move forward. So the first assumption is no one replies because I sound like a weirdo. So I want y'all to think about this for a second. When you don't reply to a text, what percentage of the time do you not reply because the person sounds like a weirdo? Right? So some people are trolling and saying 100. But I'm pretty sure that the number is really low. So now what we see is in the mind of someone who is socially awkward, they interpret relatively benign things as bad. The reason that this person isn't responding is not because they don't know what to say or it was a really good text and they don't know how to match it because they're socially awkward too. Or they just checked it, but they were busy at that moment. And like I sent a long text and they didn't have they didn't want to send a thumbs up. They wanted to send like a decent text in return, but they couldn't at that moment. So they looked at the text and then it got moved to read instead of unread. And then a day later when they opened up their text, they didn't see it anymore because now it's in the red. Right? That's what happens. But we interpret incorrectly. Now, receive 0 feedback. That's actually legit. Second thing is send awkward text. How do we know that the text is awkward? You're just sending a text. It's neither awkward nor awkward. I mean, awkward nor not awkward. It's just a text. So now we see that there is an assumption right here. You're shooting yourself in the foot even before you start. And if you believe the text is awkward, then that will convince you that the reply is because you sound like a weirdo. If you had sent a better text, then they would have responded. And so now what you actually do, it's not that social skills deteriorate. It's that you assume that the reason you're sending awkward skills is because your social skills have deteriorated. So people, it's kind of bizarre, but people think that the effect or the cause of their problems, it's not the cause of your problems. It's actually an assumption that you reverse engineer based on your mindset. Do you all get that? It's devastating. Devastating. Because now you believe you have a reason for something. But it is not data, it is an assumption. And the moment you start treating assumptions as data is when you are screwed. That's the problem. Because it's not actual data. It's an assumption. It's an interpretation. So how do we fix this? we start by acknowledging, we do something called increased cognitive flexibility. So if someone is not responding to your texts, instead of jumping to one conclusion, which is something that we call premature closure, we want to increase our cognitive flexibility. What are the reasons why this person may not have responded? Literally write them out. Which one is the most likely? And then you'll circle because the text was bad. Okay, even if you circle that, that's okay. You've actually increased your cognitive flexibility because you trained yourself to think about other possibilities. And then you can even ask yourself the next question, how did I come to this conclusion? And what you'll discover is that what you believe about yourself starts with one small or potentially large experience, which then has a stack of assumptions piled on top of it. But it's going to come down to you had an older brother or sibling, sister, something like that, and your parents are like, why can't you be more like this person? Why can't you be more social? Why are you so shy? And it's not that you were normally social at that point, but your sibling was very social and was very good at it. And so even if you're at the 50th or 75th percentile, you're being compared to someone who's at the 95th percentile. And so you feel like you're lacking. And once you conclude that you're lacking, your brain creates a cognitive filter through which it interprets information. And this becomes data for you. And then the more that you believe your social skills are deteriorating, the more that they actually start to deteriorate. Then you drop to the 50th percentile, 40th percentile, 25th percentile. But if you come down to it, it's really one experience. And so what you need to correct is not that you need to do, you can do different stuff. That's fine. That's good. But like most of the problems are what you carry around with you. And that's why it's a circle. Like the reason this is a loop is because you are in every step and you carry the problems with you. That's why it loops. The closed circuit is you. Okay. Been reading some Viktor Frankl, How to Move to Stage 3. Stage 1, no way, man. I'm not a slave to anything. All I have to do is work harder and make better choices and things will work out. And then in the middle, we are all slaves to our biological, psychological, and sociological environment. Almost all actions I can realistically take are simply products of these trappings. I have free will to make informed decisions and correct choices in any environment I end up in. I'm the only one with the ability to change myself and so better karma for my life. How do you move to stage 3? So if you think that you are a slave to biological, psychological, and sociological environments, almost all actions I can realistically take are simply a product of these trappings, and you want to understand how you have free will. So I'd say the biggest problem that I see here is black and white thinking. So the problem is that you can get jebaited into debating about biological, psychological, and sociological. Does free will exist or not exist? But if you really want to break free and understand the extent of your free will, you need to do two things. The first is stop black and white thinking. Free will is not binary. Once you move away from black and white thinking, you start to see that life is actually a confluence of choice and environment. So in medicine, we have figured this out. The strongest amount of data in medicine is the realization that there is a genetic vulnerability plus an environmental trigger. This is the source of disease. It is not inborn. It is not external. It is a combination of those two things. There's overwhelming scientific evidence of this now, that this is the way of things with people. Inborn predisposition plus environmental circumstances. You have the genetic code to make a seed grow, but the genetic code is insufficient. It requires soil, water, and sunlight. And so if you want to move on beyond feeling trapped by all of your circumstances, stop thinking in black and white, number one. The second mistake that these people make is that they are externally focused. The internal environment, they are blind to. Since I'm looking at research all the time and talking to other people and watching other things and learning about my emotions from watching videos on the internet, I'm not going to learn about them in here. So shift your attention inward and discover instead of learn. If you'll want to move, the difference between this person and this person is knowledge. The difference between this person and this person is discovery. When someone starts using knowledge as a substitute for discovery, they get stuck here. And that's what makes this so hard. Oftentimes, you can't discover from here to here. This is difficult, moving from 1 to 3. So oftentimes, we have to go this way. Well, we have to learn. So I know nothing. So let me learn, because it's more efficient to learn from the outside if you know nothing. But at some point, you have to discover things for yourself. And that's how you get over here. And literally, Viktor Frankl's story was a story of discovery, not a story of knowledge. Make sense? Yeah, so if you're in limbo between 2 or 3, generally speaking, you need to look inward, not outward. And then you will discover what free will is. Y'all want to do some meditation? Okay, we're going to do a meditation. How do we look inward? We're going to do meditation right now. Okay, so close your eyes. And as you close your eyes, the first thing that I want you to notice is your breath. And you may notice something interesting, that the moment you start focusing on your breath, it no longer is automatic. You were breathing unconsciously, but the moment you become aware, it's hard to breathe unconsciously. So try for a moment. Can you return to unconscious breathing with observation? So try to make it automatic. And you'll notice that it's difficult. So now we can come back. Okay, now we're going to start paying attention to me. So now what we're going to do is, what did y'all notice about automaticity and control? You couldn't do it. So let me ask you, who is in control of the breath? You were. Not only are you in control, so you can control whether you breathe deeply or you breathe shallowly, but, so that's sort of weird, right? So if you're in control, you have free will. And not only do you have free will, It is impossible to not be in control. Y'all get that? You cannot surrender control, even if you try. Not only do you have free will, you have complete control. 100%, and you can't give 1% of it up. Now, people will say, stop breathing. So let's understand this. You think you've screwed me there, but this works. So if I control my breath, don't do this, but if I control my breath, because kids will do this sometimes, right? They will control their breath. As long as their awareness is there, as long as their free will is active, they can control their breath. Until they pass out. When they pass out, they lose awareness. When they lose awareness, they lose control and automaticity returns. Right? You get that? Actually proves the point. You are in control when you are aware. You have choice when you are aware. It's that simple. And so this is the key thing. When I said that discovery leads you to part 3, people who focus on knowledge are unaware. People who focus on discovery raise their awareness. And awareness precedes control. It is a core yogic concept. And if y'all want more evidence of this, think about the last time you went to the dentist and you got numbed up. What happens when you lose awareness of your mouth and your tongue? You lose the control for the ability to speak. The only thing that there is free will. That's how far it gets. Does that make sense? So look inward. That's what all these yoga people say. Look inward and you will discover. Like, they're right. Right? And so if you kind of think about it, you are in control of your breath. Like, you have the ability to control. You can decide whether it goes up or down. And then you may say, but hold on a second, like this was like someone, you're biologically like influenced because you heard these things. But I mean, just experience it yourself. You will have a subjective experience of control. And people will say, even though if you have a subjective experience of something, it's not objectively true. Well, which one is more important? Objectively, you're in a great situation. Someone's like, but I want to kill myself. Yeah, you're just dumb. It's not objectively your life is great. Like, who the fuck cares what you think subjectively? Doesn't work. Of course, that's the important thing. Subjectivity is way more important than objectivity. This is what you learn as a psychiatrist. And our society is so focused on objective criteria that we have lost the importance of subjectivity. Literally, that's what we tell people. We're very invalidating towards suicidal people. And the right thing to say is if someone tells you, don't tell them they don't deserve to be suicidal. Ask them, hey, what's going on? What makes you feel this way? Try to support them, get them into help. If you don't know how to say that kind of stuff, get them into therapy. How do you know what exists? Based on subjective information, not on objective information. It's crazy. We've missed the true nature of reality. Okay. What a life, huh? Homie, you are only in your early 20s. So there's some really interesting research about premature aging. And the sad thing is that, especially if you're like a part of the internet world and you're a gamer, there's a chance that you are prematurely aging. So what are the things that prematurely age us? Sedentary lifestyle, high amounts of carbohydrates and processed foods, and mental stress. 3 things that age you. And then I think the other unfortunate thing is that a lot of us grew up in situations where we weren't allowed to be children. So it's kind of hard, but like we sort of think about, like, if you're a 25-year-old floundering gamer, you feel old. Like I know what that's like, because I remember when I was like 21, 22, or 19, 20, I felt old. Like your body aches. You feel stiff. You become not resilient, right? So youth is resilient, and old age has like very little reserve. And so your blood sugar is super high and you feel super, super hungry, and then you eat a ton of food, and then you go into a food coma, and then you have like no motivation, and you start to feel old. The good news is that a lot of what makes us feel old is actually rust. The mind and the body don't wear out with usage. That's how we feel. What happens is we rust. So if you kind of think about even like the age of a screw or a screwdriver or any piece of mechanical equipment, that mechanical equipment, if it is left to rust, will age faster than a mechanical piece of equipment that is used. So the reason that gamers feel old is not because they are old. It's because they are rusting. And it feels the same, right? It locks up. And so this is why if you want to regain vitality, you don't need to take some magical supplement or do some kind of like special routine. You need to start using yourself. Just utilize the body. Get up and move and walk around. Stretch right here, right now. And you will feel within 15 seconds your body will awaken. Put your arms way up and reach as high as you can. You will feel your trapezius start to open up. It'll feel warmth. Right? Arms all the way up. Stretch, 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 stretch. That's all you need to do. And now come down. And you'll feel the blood flowing. You'll feel the vigor. All you need to do is start moving. Like, gamers are not actually prematurely old. What y'all are is you're like that Titan that went dormant. And then like mold and moss and all that crap starts growing all over you. And then everyone's like, yeah, the Titan used to be able to move. Like there are stories about how it saved the world from a great evil. And you just see like a statue that's sitting still. All you need to do is move. And the Titan, once the Titan starts moving, everyone's like, holy shit. It starts off by it's like moving slow, and everyone's like, oh my God, like, you know, stuff starts crumbling apart. Like that's what it's like to be a gamer and put together your life. You're a Titan that's moving again. And then like the eyes like turn on, right? Like the eyes light up. And then like if you're in this gaming binge, you'll get out of it and like awareness will awaken within you. You'll be like, what the fuck have I been doing my whole life? And then the Titan like starts to like shrug its shoulders, and it lets out a mighty roar, and it picks up its like stone sword, and then it's like, it's time to go. That's what y'all need to do. Dust yourselves off. Clean up the rust. Start moving. Do something. Pay attention to that voice within you that's waking up. Each and every one of you is a Titan. But only if you fucking move. Otherwise, you're just a statue. Great. Unironic turbo cringe. Literally is lifting weights while watching. Beautiful. Right? Started reading books and playing guitar. Yeah, and so here's the other thing to remember is that when you are de-rusting yourself, everything you're gonna do is gonna be high friction and squeaky. And so we stop doing things because it's squeaky and high friction. It's hard. But the more you do it, the more you're gonna feel it, dude. Like doing yoga every day feels amazing. Exercise the first month that you do it sucks. Make it through to the end of the month. Give yourself 30 days, chat. 30 days of awakening the Titan. Okay? You guys want to do this? Let's do it. We're going to do this, and then I think we're going to be done. I give you a choice, actually, chat. It is your choice. Do y'all want to do 30 days of awakening the Titan? Or do you want to react to more memes? Okay. First option. Here we go. This seems super bright. Oh, this is cool. Notepad can do this. Day 1. What should y'all do on day 1? Let me think. So this is what we're going to do. 5 minutes of arms reaching up to the sky. 1 minute reps times 5 with 30 seconds of rest. Day 2 is going to be Bhujang, Asana, and Parvat Asana. I'm going to have to figure out what Bhujang is in English. So this is downward facing dog. And Bhujang Asana is, I don't know what it is, but it's the opposite of downward facing dog. Cobra. Thank you. Okay. 5 minutes. So you can do 3 sets of each asana. So you do like Bhujang 1, then Parvat 1, then you do Bhujang 2, Parvat 2, then Bhujang 3, Parvat 3. And if you guys want to understand what these look like, I can maybe show y'all. It's going to be out of focus, but it's really simple. So there's downward facing dog, which is like this. And what you really want to do is put your heels to the ground, okay? And then Bhujangasana is hips to the ground and back arching up. Okay? That's it. For 5 minutes, day 2. Day 3. Continue asana regimen from day 1 and eat +1 fruit or vegetable. Day 4. Do 5 push-ups, 15 jumping jacks, 5 sit-ups. Maintain fruit +1. Day 5. Maintain workout regimen. Total about 10 minutes probably, if even. Maintain fruit +1. Read 15 minutes of something that is good for you. No screen. I guess maybe Kindle is okay. Or like e-reader. Brought to you by Amazon. Okay. But no tablet, nothing like that. Day 6. Asan regimen. Surya Namaskar. So we're going to now do Surya Namaskar. 10 minutes. You may have to watch a video for that. Maintain fruit. And then read 15 minutes. Day 7. Reflect. Surya Namaskar. Go for a walk and reflect. That's week 1. Day 8. Workout regimen number 2. 8 push-ups, 25 jumping jacks, 5 lunges, each leg. Okay. Then let me think about this. Day 9 is going to be Surya Namaskar. Plus 2 fruits, or let me think about this. So plus 1 fruit, vegetable. And then what else should you add? Plus 1 other healthy thing. Plus 1 other healthy dish. Okay? So you should eat something that is a whole dish. So this can be oatmeal. It can be khichdi. It can be something that has complex carbs. Or the main thing. Surya Namaskar. Plus 1 veg, fruit. Plus 1 other dish. Day 10. Workout regimen. Same as above. Plus 1 veg, fruit. Plus 1 dish. And then reading for 20 to 25 minutes. Day 11. Surya Namaskar. Maintain diet. Read for 20 to 25 minutes. And now we're going to add something else. Inspect poop. If poop is constipated, drink more water, eat more juicy fruits, if possible. If poop is loose, ease up on dairy. Actually, this gets complicated. Eat more fiber, let's say. This gets complicated. But now we're going to look at poop. Okay? Now we're on day 11. Day 12. Let me understand what you'll need at this point. So we're going to go back to workout regimen. We're going to reflect. Maintain diet. Calibrate towards good poops. So now we're going to talk about this. Actually, so let's do this. Good poops are based on water intake, are based on the right amount of fiber. Too much or too little will screw you up. Most people have too little. Okay? Dairy can be both constipating and loosening of stool. So that's what's tricky. You have to figure it out. So I'd adjust these 3 things. Decent amount of protein will make poop good. Okay? Green leafy veg will make poop good. Poop is important. You guys may wonder, why is poop important? Good poop equals good digestion, equals good absorption, equals good mental and physical health. Serotonin precursors, things like tryptophan, but also vitamin absorption, vitamin D, vitamin K, all that good stuff. Okay? Workout regimen, day 12. So now we're going to go to day 13. So workout regimen, diet regimen, text or call one person who you care about or want to have more of a relationship with. You may wonder, well, what do I say? We're going to take a page out of the Surgeon General's book. Hey, haven't heard from you in a while. Was hoping we could catch up sometime. Day 14. Reflect. Go for a walk. Surya Namaskar. Diet. That's it. Nothing else. Day 15. Where can you find this? We're going to make it. I guess we'll upload it somewhere. I don't know. I don't know where you're going to find it. Pay attention now. Take notes. It's not that complicated. It is, kind of. Okay, back to workout regimen. Bumped up. 15 push-ups. 30 jumping jacks. 15 lunges. 20 crunches. Okay. Then what we're going to do is reach out to friend. Maintain diet regimen. And then add +2. So actually what we're going to do is make one healthy dish +2 fruit veg. Okay. Cut out caffeine after 4 p.m. and replace with nap if possible. Let's make it 3. Okay, we're on day 15. Day 16, Surya Namaskar. Read 20 to 25 minutes. Make a dish +2 fruit veg. That's probably enough. Day 17, workout regimen. Reach out to same friend again or new friend. Or 2 new friends. So add 1 more contact. Okay? +1 new friend. Maintain diet regimen. Move towards good poop. No caffeine. Seems like enough for today. Day 18. Surya Namaskar. Diet. Keep diet regimen. Read for 25 to 30 minutes. Day 19. Workout. Regimen. Keep diet regimen. Reach out to 2 to 3 people. Day 20. Surya Namaskar. Reading. Keep diet regimen. After Surya Namaskar, meditate for 15 minutes. Day 21. Surya Namaskar. Reflect. Nothing else. Day 22. No screens for the first hour of waking. Workout. Read. Diet. Day 23. No screens for the first hour of waking. Surya Namaskar. Do 1 professional thing. Connect with someone on LinkedIn. Polish resume. Research certifications or professional advancement. Let me make sure. Diet regimen continues. Okay. Day 24. No screens for 1 hour. Workout regimen. think about this. This is actually a mistake. Let's do this. We're going to add this with this. And we're actually going to move this up here. Okay, so on day 22, we want to work out and we want to be professional on the same day. We're going to read and do Surya Namaskar on the same day. Workout regimen. One professional thing. One social contact. One healthy meal at home. Plus 2 fruit veg. Day 25. No screens for the first hour. Surya Namaskar. Plus advanced yoga posture of your choice. Read for 20 to 25 minutes. Actually, we'll skip reading today. We'll do meditation, 5 to 10 minutes. Maintain diet. Nothing else. Day 26. No screens for the first hour. Workout, professional, social, diet. Got it? Day 27. Journal. Think about the past month. We want to do our Surya Namaskar. Maintain our diet. Think about the past 4 weeks. What did you like? What did you dislike? How many days did you screw up? And how many days did you do good? So focus on, notice how even if you missed 50% of days or 50% of tasks, you still did dozens of things you wouldn't have done. That's pretty fucking cool. Day 28. Get a big piece of paper or tape lots of paper together. Write, that's pretty fucking cool, on it and put it on your wall. Take the day off. You've earned it. Done. When do we start, chat? Yeah. So I'll leave y'all with one last thing, and then we got to figure out who to raid. I understand that people have been raiding us. The only time action can be taken is the present. The idea that the future exists is a scam of the mind. The energy expenditure to do a single push-up is always the same. Energy is the capacity to do work. The work that you do is always the same. Nothing is going to change it. We sometimes think that if we are in the right state of mind, things will become easier, because they will. And so what we end up doing is we wait for the right state of mind to make our lives easy. But we can't control our state of mind. So the second that you wait for the efficient moment is the second you surrender control in your life. Efficiency comes at the cost of control. The biggest thing that if you really want to turn your life around, start being inefficient, but fucking do it. You can't wait for the right time. You can, you've been doing it, and look at where it's gotten you. So people will say, I'll start tomorrow. This sounds great, but I won't be able to make it 28 days. Who the fuck cares? Just wake up. I'm going to post it somewhere. I will send it to TechTeller. And TechTeller will post it. Titan mode. 30 days. And then people may say, ask these stupid questions like, wait, you said 30 days. There are only 28 days. It doesn't take 30 days to be a Titan. It just takes 28. How about that? YouTube guided Surya Namaskar. We have that on our channel. Yoga with Adrian is also excellent. What do you do with diet if we have IBS, IBD? So actually, I've realized I can do better than this. Let me explain something to y'all. So before we quit, I'm going to explain this to y'all, okay? So y'all may wonder, this is arguably the most important thing. Why is Dr. K doing it this way? Why am I adding what I'm adding when I'm adding it? So I'll walk y'all through this. For example, why isn't meditation a part of this? Like, isn't it weird that we're just meditating a little bit and we're not doing a whole lot of that? It seems like a lot of this stuff is like very, very light exercise with not a whole lot of other stuff. Like, what's going on here? This is because if you want to put together your life and you feel stuck, the first thing you need to do is prime your body. The brain exists within the body. And we tend to think that a lot of our motivation is mental. It's not mental. It's physical. Okay? This is important to understand. Motivation is not mental. It's physical. If you do not understand that, just think about the last time you were sick. What happened to your motivation when you're sick? Think about what happens to your motivation after you sit around on your ass for 8 hours. You've been conserving energy by sitting down for 8 hours. After you take an international flight, you should feel so energized because you've been resting for 10 hours. On that flight, you've just been sitting on your ass. Don't you get out and you're like, wow, I have all of the energy in the world. I've been conserving for so long. Not how it works. Motivation and mental focus start with the body. We have to start with very simple stuff. We're going to, step one is de-rust. And the reason this is structured like this, 5 minutes is day one. Because here's what you want to do. If you want to build a habit or you want to put together your life, you need to start with a task that you can have not done all day. And when you are tired and you're going to bed, you need to be able to do it very quickly right before you go to bed. The problem is that when people put together programs to put together their life, when you are tired and it is 11:58 at night and you just want to fall into bed, if you have a 30-minute regimen, it is impossible to do. The regimen must start with something that if it is 11:58 or 12:03 and you are tired and you want to go to bed, you can just say, you know what? It's just going to take me 5 minutes. I'm going to set an alarm. I'm going to do this thing really quick, and then I'm going to go to bed. You just need to do it. Okay? Now, day two. This is money. 5 minutes. Why are we doing these two asanas? Because what cripples you and makes you feel stiff and doesn't get your blood flowing is your back. The back is the problem for 99% of people who are alive today. So we have to focus on the back. Okay? Day three. Why aren't we focusing on the back? Why are we just doing 5 minutes of reaching up? Because you can literally be in your bed or sitting in a chair and just do this shit for 5 minutes. Day three is going to be a hard day because it's going to be tough because you've done it for 2 days and now the energy is worn out and the excitement has worn out and now like your habits are starting to kick in. The other thing that we have to start doing on day three is eating. We need fruits and vegetables. Day 4, we successfully did day 3. We've got a small spurt of energy. So now we're going to start exercising. And we're just going to stick with fruit. The other thing is, if we were just doing asanas on day 3 or day 4, we would get bored. Another reason why things fail. Anytime you're building a habit, it's fun for a couple days. Then it gets boring. So we have to mix it up. Day 5, we're going to maintain our workout regimen, maintain fruit, and then now you're going to read something. Day 6, we're now going to go back to Surya Namaskar because we've worked out 2 days in a row. Maintain fruit, 15 minutes. A little bit of variety, a little bit of consistency. Day 7, we're going to learn Surya Namaskar and we're going to just reflect. You don't want to overdo it. Day 8, we're going to up the workout. This is going to feel good. You're going to do a good job. You're going to do 8 push-ups. You're going to feel good about yourself. You're going to have a little bit more motivational energy. So we're going to take that motivational energy. You're going to be like, yeah, today is the day that I can cook an entire dish. Can't do that shit on day 3. Can't do that shit on day 5. Now you should be able to cook a dish. Day 9. Hey, we did it. We cooked a whole dish. Surya Namaskar, but we'll make things easy on you. You don't have to read. You don't have to work out. A little bit of yoga. Eat an apple. Cook a dish. It's easy. You can do it. Day 10. We're going to work out. We're going to stick with our dishes. Now we're really starting to build habits. Day 11. Surya Namaskar. Maintain your diet. Now we're going to start paying attention to our body. This is the point at which Dr. K's script no longer works. Why are we focusing on poop? We're focusing on poop because good poop is good digestion. Good digestion is good nutrients. Good nutrients is good neurotransmitters. Good neurotransmitters and good carbohydrates and good macronutrients and good vitamins is optimal physical and mental functioning. If we want to make it to day 30, we have to inspect our poop. Okay? Now what we're doing by day 13 is we've done Chad mode. Good job. But things have been easy. We have not tackled one dimension of wellness, which is social wellness. So text or call a person. Very simple. Human health is not internal exclusively. There is a relational component. We have to work on it. Since we were traumatized, we're going to do it on day 13 and day 14, we get to relax. We're going to stick with our diet. We're going to do Surya Namaskar, but whatever. They texted, didn't text. We're going to leave that crap alone. It's a little bit of PTSD, brings up a lot of insecurity. So what are we going to do? We're going to go back into man mode or woman mode or boss mode or titan mode. Day 15, stepping away from the social trauma. Workout. Put that energy and that frustration into working out. This is too soon. Too soon, actually, now that I think about it. But all of that frustration we're going to put into working out, we're going to put into healthy dish, and we're going to eat, right? Because when we feel rejected by other people, now that we feel rejected by other people here, we're going to learn how to channel that energy. So after you get rejected by someone, you want to double down on self-care. This is what day 15 is going to teach you. We're going to pump it up a notch. We're going to stop letting this lead to a 0 day. That's what usually happens. That's what we're going to fix. Double down. 2 fruits and veg. And also we're going to cut out caffeine. That you should maintain, by the way. Day 16, now we're just going to get into a rhythm. Day 16, day 17, day 18, day 19, day 20. We're going to rotate between these different things. It's going to feel somewhat, we're going to mix it up a little bit. This is the point at which I give you license to adjust accordingly. Yoga every day, work out every day, read every day, socialize every day. Diet for sure. You get to pick. If you decide at this point, I like yoga more than working out, you can deviate that way, or you can work out every day. You can start doing more, whatever. But for the first 15 days, stick with it. Okay? Now, this is really important. Now that we have started to get this crap in order, we've done some social stuff, some physical stuff, we've been eating healthy for 2 weeks. Now we get to do habit. Now we start using willpower. Day 22, after our 3rd week, now we're going to use willpower. No screens after the first hour of waking. You should be able to do it at this point. We're going to also start putting together our professional life. Now we can start meditating if you feel like it. You can go into advanced yoga. So week 4, we're going to start really doing, like, we're going to start moving forward in life. We're going to be upping things. We're going to be accomplishing more. The Titan is now online. Once the Titan is online, we're going to do a diagnostic. Which systems are working properly? Which systems are still funked? And then we are going to celebrate and take the day off. You've earned it. Make sense? The problem is that everyone tries to do these things without, like, you have to start with the easiest thing first. And you have to understand the ebb and flow of motivation. And you have to figure out which days we can take that negative energy of socialization and put it back into self-care. Because you're going to want to retreat. But if when you retreat, you have a habit of exercise, that retreat will become a positive. You have to understand how you work and understand that your motivation is like waves coming back and forth. And you have to give yourself, you can't push yourself every single day. You have to make in breaks. And you can't do social stuff or professional stuff until you've got some of the foundations set in. Because anytime you do something professional, a host of insecurities is going to come up. But if you've been doing meditation every day, or not, yoga every day, eating some healthy food, you will be more resilient. The problem is that we try to fix problems without preparing ourselves to fix them. And this instrument needs to be cleaned up. And at the end of it, you'll be a Titan. Then you can watch all of the other self-help crap and you'll be able to do it all. What if you suffer from brain fog? Doesn't fucking matter. That's why we start with this on day 1. You can do this if you have brain fog. This is why we're starting with diet. As you start to incorporate these kinds of things, your brain fog hopefully should reduce. You can watch our stream or video about brain fog. It's one of our best YouTube videos. But this actually has brain fog baked in, or like addressing brain fog baked into it. Even starting with Bhujangasana and Parvatasana. What does Bhujang and Parvatasana do to cerebral blood flow? Bhujangasana, we're looking all the way up. Parvatasana, our head is lower than our heart. Increases cerebral blood flow. Flushes out all the crap in your brain. Brain fog is baked into the regimen. I thought about it before we even wrote it out. I have procrastination and social anxiety. Does it help me? Absolutely. That's why social crap starts with sending one message to one person that you want to connect with, and we gave you precise language, and it's on day 14. Takes that into account. That's also why you're going to build up a habit of working out. You're going to feel terrible after sending that text message, and you're going to hit the workout really hard, and you're going to eat a second piece of fruit so that you can feel good about yourself. And we don't have to feel good about ourselves by conquering the thing that we moved away from. This is another key thing that this Titan mode thing incorporates. Whenever we fail at something, we think that the only way to do good or feel better about ourselves is to succeed at that thing. I don't know how to talk to girls. I feel bad about myself. How do I talk to girls? That's what I want to fix. That's not what you should fix. It's too fucking hard. Instead, go do something else that you can feel good about. You need to learn that your confidence and worth as a human being is not one-dimensional in your ability to do this one thing and make friends. You need to learn that you can actually work out hard that same day and you can still feel good about yourself. This is the nature of resilience. It is feeling good over here when you feel bad over there. The day after you get rejected, you will make progress. You will be confident. And then 3 days later, when you reach out to a second person, that confidence is going to come with you. It's all baked in. What time should the activities be done? Morning is best, but what you will discover is that at the beginning, you will do them at some time. And then the first week, you'll forget about them or feel lazy, and you'll think about it before you go to bed. So if you want to print this out and just stick it somewhere on your wall. So the first week, the activities have to be able to be done, even if you haven't done shit all day. You can eat a banana and do this on week 1 before you go to bed. Good enough. Success has to be easy on week 1. Over time, what you'll start to realize is, okay, where does this fit in? That's for you to figure out. Where can I find the text file? I'm going to upload it again because I made some edits. Thankfully, we have TechTeller. No, the fruit and veg is not cumulative. By the end, you should be cooking yourself one healthy carbohydrate-based meal a day. And if you want to go like keto or whatever, you can do that. One healthy meal a day and 2 servings of fruit and veg in addition to that. Okay? And here's the thing. When y'all struggle, so I want y'all to think about this in terms of a gaming analogy. So if I struggle in a video game, frequently what I'll do is I'll go read forums to try to find some OP strat. What's the meta? How do I play to the meta so that I can start winning? But the way to win games is not to find some whatever flavor of the month, like OP thing. I came up with this new build and it's really cool. It's to focus on your fundamentals. If your accuracy is decent, if your last hitting ability is decent, if you look at the mini map, if you don't tilt, and life is the same way. Everyone is out there looking for all these fancy solutions. Like if I take this supplement and I do this and I do this, like if I learn this special meditation, like then it'll turn my life around and all that crap. And why are there thousands of supplements and thousands of meditations and thousands of like these like special secret techniques, like secret sauce here, take my secret sauce, take someone else's secret sauce? It's because none of them work. Right? I mean, all of them help some people, some. But it's not like any of it is really the secret sauce. The secret sauce of living life well is fundamentals. And that's why the self-help industry exists, because no one has made it easy to do the fundamentals. There are all these studies, these meta-analyses about all these diets. And what they basically say is like, eat fucking healthy. That's it. That's what's important. So if you want to put your life together, instead of spending 10 hours researching what novel discovery in science is going to transform your life, reverse aging, fix brain fog, increase the size of your scrotum, and make you swole, ovaries, whatever, just do the basics and start really, really small. And make it so that even if you failed at the end of the day, this is the most important thing. If you have failed at the end of the day, you need a regimen that you can take a L and turn it into a W in the last 5 minutes of your day. Stop accepting L's and turn them into W's. That's the path to being a Titan. So Kata EH is saying, I'm having a hard time cutting out sugary foods. That's baked into the plan too. The plan that we have set out for you has a growing intake of fiber over the course of 28 days that is non-traumatic. So here's why people have difficulty cutting out sugary foods. Because when you cut out sugary food, the gut bacteria that depends on sugar to survive starts dying. As it starts dying, it releases chemicals, including neurologically active chemicals. It increases the inflammation in your gut when it dies. When it increases the inflammation, it actually makes your membranes leaky, which allows more of the bacterial shit to get into your bloodstream. And what shit gets into your bloodstream? Chemicals that travel to your brain and make you crave sugary food. This is why day 3 of cutting out sugary food is so hard, because that's when bacteria really start dying. Anyone can cut out sugary food for a day or 2. Day 3 is the test. So if you want to avoid that, what you want is gradually increasing your fiber, because the bacteria that can usually eat simple carbohydrates can't eat, or aren't the same as those that can eat complex carbohydrates. So by adding 1 healthy carbohydrate meal and 2 servings of fruit and vegetable over the course of the month, you will be able to resist sugary food. You don't even have to cut it out. You will start eating less of it on your own. And then if you try to cut it out on month 2, it'll be way easier. Ugh, but it's so delicious. It's so delicious until you start exercising and eating healthy. Then it becomes less delicious. So Superius is saying, I'm good on this 2-liter Pepsi, doc. Have your 2-liter Pepsi. In the 30-day Titan mode, does it say anywhere that you should cut out Pepsi? No, it doesn't. The whole point is you can drink a 2-liter Pepsi a day. You start this regimen, it'll still work. You will drink less Pepsi by the end of 28 days. The whole point is that it shouldn't be hard. It should be easy. Once you start doing 8 push-ups, 25 jumping jacks, 15 lunges, 10 crunches, and Surya Namaskar, your desire to drink Pepsi will go down. I have never met, let me think about that. I would say 98 to 99% of human beings I've worked with, when they start exercising, start drinking more water automatically, because it's what your body wants. If you go to the gym twice a week, do I still need to do the workout? No. You still need to do something every day, or except for the days that we give you off. Do I have recommendation for diet for people with IBS-D? Yes, I have many recommendations, but I think we're going to have to do more of a deep dive into that to understand what's going on with IBS, IBD, and understand diet on the whole. Okay. So where will this be? Who knows? Let's see. Okay. Who are we rating, chat? Let's raid Maya. Maya's streaming. Speaking of healthy things. Wait 2 minutes, please. Okay, wait, hold on. Back. What? What? We will give link. Okay, we're going to give link. Give link. Tech teller. So here's the other thing. I wonder if we can, I wonder if I'm doing this too hard, but I wonder if you guys want, I will start this with you. And we can do this starting tomorrow. Do y'all want to do that? Let's do it. We're going to do it together. Okay? Where do we find the plan? Tactile is going to take care of it. So I will do it with you. Chat. Recap what we're doing. There's a text. So here's what's going on. For those of y'all that missed the beginning of this. We try to... So this started... If you're kind of like a gamer like me, you feel prematurely old. But you're not old. What you are is rusty. So the human brain and the human body don't wear out from use. They rust from disuse. And the biggest problem is when we try to go do stuff, we're rusty. Our back aches. We crave food. We get distracted. We can't focus. So how do you go about, like, waking up? And so what my journey was kind of like is, like, I felt like one of those titans from video games that are like, you know, they fought in this great war 2 millennia ago, and now they're like slouched and they're like hunched over, and then like moss and crap is growing on top of them. And then like the titan starts to awaken, right? It shifts a little bit, things start to crumble. It doesn't move much, but then it moves more and more and more, and the eyes light up, and then you're like, and then the titan begins to move. And then as it like, as the kind of age starts to slough off, the titan becomes amazing again. And we're going to do that. It's going to take us 30 days. That's what we're doing. Okay? Alrighty. Why not? Okay, let's start today. Good point. So we're not even going to start tomorrow. We're going to start today. Let's do it, chat. Let's go. If it's your gym rest day, you can still do this. Okay? Good luck, chattars. Let's do it together. Where's the list? It's on Discord. Take care, y'all. How would one access? I think it's being uploaded to Reddit too. You can order a pizza. I'm probably going to have pizza today. That's fine. We're going to make things easy. We're going to ramp up slowly. It's all good. Good luck, y'all. Okay. What would